Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, coming to you live from Stanton, Virginia. I get asked the question quite often about getting started with neck reining or getting started with riding your horse with one hand. We get this a lot through messages. We get it a lot, questions at our clinics, especially when we're working with things like roping or riding with the garrocha. Riding with just one hand is a pretty handy thing to have. Now, when we're talking about neck reining, there's certainly different ways that you could go about the neck reining that way. You could kind of go at it like a bad B-Western movie, dragging your reins across your horse's neck and kind of insulting your horse's intelligence, doing things that way. Or what we're working for, I would think, is a little bit more sophistication, a little bit more of an academic request of our horse, and a little more of an academic response from our horse. So when I'm working on riding with one hand, or eventually neck reining as it might be called, I want to make sure that my horse is really moving with my seat. So I want to make sure that I can get a right bend off of my horse through my seat. I want to make sure I can change to a left bend off of my seat. I want to make sure that the horse can move with me, leg yielding left and right, things like that. And so in order for this to happen, the horse has got to understand the length of the rein and the limit of the rein there, and kind of honor where that rein stops. So if I hold my hand here steady and I lift up on these reins, the horse should be able to step back off of them without resistance, without arguing, without me pulling. That's going to kind of set our limit there. If we think about what takes place in the neck reining, in the way that most riders talk about it, is the horse shifts the weight to the haunches and then steps across. So I'm not going to make a big move here left or right with my reins. It's going to be pretty subtle, about what we've got right here. You know, with the big old horn we've got on this saddle here, we're talking about maybe going from one side of it to the next. It's not a real big move. So if I were to shift my weight back here, you see she kind of shifts back here with me. And I'll open this rein just slightly as I do that, offering a pocket. If I could exaggerate, I'm offering this pocket for her to step into, or a pocket over here for her to step into. The outside rein in this case, if I'm going to open a pocket to the left, my right rein would be my outside rein. If I'm shifting back, this right rein is helping her to stay with the balance over her hindquarters. The left rein here is giving her kind of a door to step into. So we'll shift back, and then we'll ask for her to step across here. Okay, it's about the balance there. Again, when we're talking about developing our horse athletically and academically, the balance is really important. If we just get to kind of geeing and hawing up here, like you might see some of your friends do out on a trail ride, well, your horse is going to get no benefit from that, and you're not going to end up with a better relationship, a better foundation. You're not going to end up with more of an education from your horse anyway. So it's about the balance. It's about helping the horse to understand and to read your seat primarily. Once you've got that focus there, you could be riding with two hands and focusing on the horse understanding your seat and understanding your balance. And then the reins more or less just become secondary. And they, as far as the guidance goes, and we can work then on educating the horse, helping them to balance better, carrying their weight in a more appropriate way. If we think about this from a dressage perspective, it's the connection of the outside rein to help the horse to balance, engage, and eventually become collected. If we're talking about it from a Western perspective, it's the same thing. Because, you know, there's a little secret here that I'm going to share with you. The horse is the horse is the horse. An outside rein on a quarter horse is going to work the same way as an outside rein on a Dutch warm blood or a Hanoverian. The horse is the horse is the horse. The mechanics work the same. The education works the same. And again, this is when we're talking about more of an academic development. the horse can honor the outside rein, the horse can understand what we're asking for. But primarily, we've got to ride with our seat first. If you're trying to teach a horse to neck rein or to ride with one hand because you're not very good with your seat, well then chances are your neck reining isn't going to come out very good either, right? So we've got to have a good basic foundation from our horse and within ourselves before we can start asking for things like this. I hope this might be helpful to some of you out there. Please feel free, give us a like, a share, a comment, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down if you didn't feel like it was the, worth watching. But again, I hope that this has been helpful to you. Focus on your seat, focus on your horse honoring and understanding your aids, and then riding with one hand there. We could go off, go roping, we could go ride with the garrocha, you could go down the trail with one hand on the reins and one hand on a sandwich or something like that if you wanted to. All right, gang. I hope you have a fantastic day.